Koser Musikfest 2025 Zinzenplatz. Now, Koser, after the first performance, I think I experienced them 2 years ago. 2024 dual performance at first Zinzenplatz and a 2-hour show on Main Street, like an hour later. Incredible, off the charts, amazing, phenomenal is the very least I can say about it. So going into this, I'm like, yeah, this is one of my cannot wait to experience. Well, half the show was. Koser is pretty much original rock out of Philly. And even when they do the covers and not rock, pop, whatever genre, the Koser's boast of the name of lead singer. The lead singer is up on stage. She's this, regardless of what they're doing, is this entity, ball of energy, just wild on stage. So, you know, I was like, okay, let's see how they're going to top that performance. It's Musikfest. Every band and every musician, regardless of genre, acoustic, full band, whatever, gives it everything they have at every performance, but especially here. So, started off with the cover. And I don't like comparing performances among musicians. Last year, Main Street kicked it off with 3 originals, you know, to close out the Main Street for the night. I was like, yeah, this is Philly rock. This is the way you should, this is how you announce it to Musikfest, your band to Musikfest. So I think it was like War Pigs or something. You saw, okay, still hard rock, right? And then at one point they brought up a three-piece horn section. I'm like, okay, this is new. You know, like I said in other reviews, I like to see how a band evolves, changes, you know, and do a couple, you know, at least one more review on it, just to, you know, let you know what's going on with it. Well, I actually told the band it was the best performance I experienced, but honestly, it made, I'm not going to say a word, but I was wrong. Because actually at the time, you know, on the way back, I thought it's like, yeah, it was, you know, you get caught up in the adrenaline and everything. Anyway, when they brought out the horn section, I was like, okay, you know, band's evolving, let's give this a shot. Well, about halfway through the show, it wasn't just, it was like there were 2 different bands, completely different bands on stage. One with the horns and one without. And without the horns, it was Koser and her band. It was the original, it was the hard rock, the pop, the energy, just, I mean, they did what is almost impossible with me. When it was just the band without the horn, the front of the stage was packed with people. They had me up there, especially with their originals, Witchy One and Gallery Wall, which I love them both. So they had me up to the front, and that's almost impossible. But then they brought, you know, they kept the pace, they varied the pace, horns on, horn section on, horn section off, which is great. But about halfway through the show, when they brought the horn section, I'm like, again, I was like, all instrumental. I'm like, okay, here we go. So I went out tent against the wall, smoked a cigarette, and I'm sitting there like, okay, this is like, am I here at Zinzen experiencing, you know, a band, or am I over at Festplatz, which is all cover and tribute bands, and experiencing Philadelphia Funk Authority, or M80, or any other number of a long list of average at best cover party bands? And trust me, if I say that, if I compare that, a band to that, that is one of the worst possible things I could say about a band, honestly. Maybe your thing, not mine. So it was like for half the show, I'm just kind of like paying attention, but I'm like, really? It's like, I don't expect, you know, Koser or any band to stick with what they do, because it becomes boring and repetitive. I'd love to see when a band evolves, changes, and everything. But like I said, it was literally 2 completely different bands on stage, which they probably tried to get to work, but it's like if you're gonna do that, okay, have the first half of the set be one, have the second half of the set be the other one. You had people up there dancing and everything, regardless of which version it was. But it was like you said, Festplatz is where all your party cover bands are. Get slam packed, especially at night. You can barely move through the Platz itself, where the stage is, which is great. You gotta attract people, but I'm like, really? And for myself, at least, for myself, the way they did it failed completely. Yeah, they kept you guessing as to what's going on, what they're going to do next time, but just with the horn section, and mixing it up like that completely on all levels failed for me. Like I said, I'm sitting outside smoking a cigarette, like, okay, whatever. It's like, okay, PFA or any of those other bands that a lot of people go nuts about, but for myself and all my experience, average at best, and a very long list of clones. Koser, they went from my favorite band, overall favorite band list to, okay, when you're the regular band, you're still there. When you do this combination, or when you go with the horns, and because of adding that horn section on performance, dropped off the list almost real fast, completely off my list of bands. Would I recommend them? Depends on what you like and what you love to experience, and it depends on what band shows up. Michael Phoenix, Founder Staff, Fire City Illusion. It's Musikfest 2025, winding out the final day. To your family and friends, as always, continue to stay safe, wishing you only the best and much success in your lives.